All right, so we're getting ready for a leather goods product developer interview,
Yeah.
and we're going to use these RoleCatcher resources
Right.
to help us get ready
That's
for this deep dive into this job.
It's a really cool field. It blends creativity with actually being able to make the product.
Like you're not just designing it.
Yeah, you're not just designing it.
You're making sure it can be made.
You got to figure out the leather, you got to figure out the stitching and all of that.
You're like the architect of leather,
That's a great way to put it.
taking the concept from a designer and figuring out how to actually make it.
Yeah, and making sure that it's durable and it'll last a long time.
And this industry is just booming right now.
It really is.
Like the demand for these product developers is just going up and up.
So it's a great field to be in.
Yeah. So let's jump right into some of these common interview questions,
Okay, sounds good.
and we'll figure out how to craft some really amazing answers.
Yeah, one of the first questions they always ask is, why are you interested in leather goods product development?
That sounds like a simple question,
Yeah, it does, right?
but I feel like they're looking for something a bit more.
They are. They want to see your passion.
Yes.
Want to see that you're really genuinely interested in leather and how things are made.
So we can't just say, oh, I like bags.
No, definitely not.
We need to really think about what got us into this field.
Right. Like, is it the feel of the leather, or is it the design, the intricate designs, or do you have a family connection to leatherworking?
Yeah. And we should try to connect it to the bigger picture, too.
Right.
Like maybe you're into the whole art mixed with engineering,
Exactly.
or you just love that you're making something that's beautiful, but it's going to last.
Yeah, I like that.
Like I've always been just drawn to how leather feels and the way it changes over time
Yeah.
and how it gets that character as it gets older.
Yeah.
And seeing someone turn a simple piece of leather into something that you can use, that's what really got me into this.
Yeah, that's a great answer. It
Yeah.
shows that you've really thought about it.
Yeah.
It's not just a surface level interest.
Yeah. And I bet they'll ask more questions to go even deeper.
Oh, they definitely will. They'll probably ask you, what part of this whole process excites you the most?
So that's when we can talk about the things that we really love.
Yeah.
Like it's the pattern engineering,
Mm-hmm.
taking that flat piece of leather and turning it into something three-dimensional.
Right. Or maybe it's finding the perfect leather
Yeah.
that's both beautiful and ethical.
We really have to show them that we know what this job is all about.
Yeah, and that you're excited about those parts of it.
This is where I think RoleCatcher can really help us out.
Oh, for sure.
Its AI can look at tons of interview questions and answers,
Wow.
and it can help us get ready for this exact job.
So it tailors the practice to the specific role.
Yeah, and it gives us feedback on our answers so we can make them even better.
That's amazing. It's like having a personal interview coach.
Yeah, but with AI.
Yeah,
So we're not just practicing, we're practicing smart.
I like that.
Okay, so another question they often ask is, what are some key trends you've noticed in the leather goods industry?
Oh, that's a good one. They're trying to see how much you know about the industry.
Like, if we've been paying attention.
Right. Are you up to date on what's happening in the world of leather goods?
And it's not just any trends.
No.
They want to know if we can connect the trends to the job itself.
That's right.
The career guide actually talked about how important it is to always be learning in this field.
Yes, definitely.
So we have to do our research.
Absolutely.
So we could talk about how vegan leather is becoming more popular
Yeah, and what that means for sustainability.
and how people want more personalized items
Right.
and how traditional craftsmanship is being combined with new technology.
Yeah, all great points.
So I could say something like, one trend I've been watching closely is how important traceability and transparency are becoming in the leather supply chain. Consumers want to know where their leather comes from and if it's ethical.
Right.
And that's a big challenge, but it's also a big opportunity for product developers.
That's a great answer. It shows that you understand the trend and you're thinking about what it means for the job.
Yeah.
And they might ask you something like, how do you see these trends changing your approach to product development?
So then we have to show them how we think ahead.
Right.
Like, how would we change our designs or the materials we use to keep up with what people want?
Exactly.
It's all about showing them that we're not just following trends.
Yeah.
We're thinking about them and how they affect our work.
Right.
Okay, let's move on to a question about our design process.
Okay.
Can you walk me through your approach when developing a new leather product
This is where you get to show them how your creative process works.
and how we solve problems?
Exactly.
We can't just give them a boring answer like, I brainstorm and I sketch.
No, you have to paint a picture for them
Yeah.
with specific details.
So I could say, my process always starts with figuring out who's going to use the product and what they need.
Yeah,
What problem am I trying to solve with this product?
that's a great starting point.
And then I do a lot of research. I look at different materials and trends,
Yeah.
and I even look at historical techniques.
Wow.
I find inspiration everywhere, from buildings to nature,
I love that.
and then I start sketching and making mood boards,
Yeah,
and I experiment with different leather samples.
that's great.
I might even make a small prototype to test it out before I finish the design.
That shows them you're methodical and creative.
Yeah.
You're thinking about everything from what the user needs to how different leathers feel.
Yeah. And then they might ask us about a specific design challenge we faced and how we overcame it.
Oh, yeah, that's a common one.
That's when we can show them how resilient we are and how good we are at problem solving.
Right, like, did you have to change a pattern to make it work better?
Or maybe we had to find a new lever
Okay.
because our first choice wasn't working out.
Exactly, talking about those challenges shows them how you think and how adaptable you are.
And RoleCatcher's AI can help us prepare for this kind of question too.
Oh, really?
It can analyze successful answers
Wow.
and help us structure our answers in a really compelling way.
That's fantastic.
Okay, let's talk about another question that's really important for this job.
Okay.
How do you ensure the quality and durability of your leather goods?
Oh, yeah. Quality is everything in the luxury leather goods world.
They want to know that we understand how important craftsmanship is
Yeah.
and how important it is to choose the right materials.
And that you test your products thoroughly,
We have to think about it from the customer's point of view.
right?
They're spending a lot of money on something they want to last for years.
Maybe even decades.
So how do we make sure our designs meet those expectations?
What good question.
We can't just say, I use good materials.
No, definitely not.
We need to go deeper,
Explain what you know about different grades of leather.
and why some are better for certain things than others,
Yes, and talk about construction techniques.
like reinforced stitching,
Yes, and edge finishing.
that make things more durable.
Exactly.
So I could say something like, I'm really committed to quality, and it all starts with finding the best leathers.
Okay.
And each leather is chosen for its specific properties and what it's going to be used for.
Yeah.
I work really closely with skilled artisans to make sure everything is constructed perfectly.
Uh-huh.
I pay attention to every detail, from how many stitches per inch to what kind of hardware we use.
That's great.
And before we start making a lot of the product, we test it rigorously to make sure it meets international quality and durability standards.
Yeah.
And I'm always looking for new techniques and technologies to make my products last even longer.
That's a really strong answer.
Yeah.
It shows that you're not just designing for looks, but for quality that lasts.
Yeah.
They might ask you about specific quality control tests you do.
So that's when we can show off our technical knowledge.
Yeah.
We can talk about how we test the leather strength and how well the color stays
Huh?
and how resistant it is to scratching.
Good.
Maybe we even have experience working with labs to test our products.
That would be impressive.
It's all about showing them that we're not just making pretty things.
Yeah.
We're making things that are engineered to last.
Exactly.
Speaking of lasting, let's talk about aesthetics and functionality.
Oh, yeah, that's a big one.
How do you balance those two elements in your designs?
That's a classic design dilemma.
You want something to look good,
Right.
but it also has to work well in everyday life.
Exactly.
Think about a briefcase that's beautiful, but it's also lightweight and organized.
Yeah, or a handbag that's stylish, but it can fit everything you need.
Finding that balance between looking good and working well is really important.
It's all about knowing who's going to be using the product and how they'll be using it.
Like, will they use it every day or just for special occasions?
Right.
Does it need to be waterproof? How much stuff do they need to carry? I could say, I think true beauty is when something looks good and works well together.
I like that.
A well-designed leather good should look amazing, but also fit seamlessly into someone's life.
Yeah.
I start each design by thinking about what it's going to be used for and who's going to be using it.
Makes sense.
That helps me prioritize features that make it work well without sacrificing how it looks.
Good.
For example, I might add hidden pockets for security or adjustable straps to make it more comfortable and versatile.
That shows them that you're thinking beyond just the looks.
Yeah.
And that you're thinking about how to make it practical for everyday use.
They might ask us for a specific example from our portfolio.
Oh, yeah, to see how we've achieved this balance.
This is where our portfolio really shines.
Yes, absolutely.
And RoleCatcher's AI can help us pick the right projects for this specific job,
Oh, wow.
so we can show them that we understand what they're looking for.
That's amazing.
Okay, let's move on to a question about our professional development.
Okay, so
How do you stay up to date with the latest trends and innovations in the leather goods industry?
That's a great question.
They're basically asking if we're committed to learning new things.
And if we're passionate about staying ahead of the game,
We can't just say, I read magazines.
no, you have to be specific.
Yeah.
Mention actual industry publications or online resources that you use.
Like Leather Goods Today or Footwear News.
Yes, perfect examples.
We could even talk about going to industry events or workshops.
Yeah, trade shows like Linnapel
Or maybe we're part of a professional organization.
or online forums.
So I could say, I make it a priority to stay informed about the latest advancements in the field.
Yeah.
I subscribe to industry publications. I follow influential designers and brands on social media.
Uh-huh.
And I go to trade shows like Linnapel to see the newest materials and techniques in person.
Good.
I also connect with other professionals in the industry to share ideas and learn from their experiences.
That's a great answer.
Yeah.
It shows that you're dedicated to growing professionally
Yeah.
and that you're genuinely interested in how the leather goods industry is changing.
They might ask us about a recent development or innovation that we found really exciting.
Oh, yeah, that's a good opportunity to stand out.
We can talk about a new material or a new technique or even a design trend that caught our eye.
Yeah.
And we can explain why we found it interesting and how it might influence our future work.
That shows you're not just passively taking in information.
Yeah.
You're actively engaging with it.
Okay, let's shift gears and talk about the production process.
Okay, sounds good.
How do you manage the production process for your leather goods?
This question is about your project management skills.
And how well we work with manufacturers.
Right. They want to see that you can take a design from idea to reality.
It's about understanding how complex manufacturing is.
And being able to handle those challenges while still making sure the quality is top-notch.
We can't just say, I send my designs to a factory.
No, definitely not.
We need to walk them through our process.
Right? Like, do you create detailed instructions with all the specifications for material stitching and hardware?
Yeah.
How do you communicate with the manufacturers to make sure they understand your vision?
I could say I'm very hands-on when it comes to production management.
Okay.
I believe clear communication and collaboration are key to success.
Yeah.
I create comprehensive tech packs that outline every detail of the design.
Uh-huh.
And I stay in close communication with the manufacturers throughout the whole process.
Good.
I also visit the factory regularly to check on samples and make sure they're meeting our quality standards.
That's important.
And I believe in building strong relationships with manufacturers based on trust and mutual respect.
That's a great answer.
Yeah.
It shows that you're detail-oriented, you're collaborative, and you're committed to quality.
They might ask us about a time when we faced a production challenge and how we solved it.
Oh, yeah, that's a common one.
This is another chance to show them how good we are at solving problems.
Right, like maybe a material was delayed or a stitching technique wasn't working the way you wanted it to.
How did we adapt and communicate and find solutions to keep things moving forward?
Those real-life examples show that you're resilient and can handle the unexpected.
Yeah, every challenge is a chance to learn and grow.
Absolutely.
Speaking of learning and growing, let's talk about how RoleCatcher can help us prepare for those tough interview questions.
Oh, yeah, that's a good point.
RoleCatcher's AI-powered interview practice tool is amazing.
Tell me more.
You can practice your answers and get personalized feedback.
Wow.
It's like having a mock interview with an expert.
That's incredible.
And the best part is it's tailored to the specific job we're applying for.
So you know you're getting the most relevant feedback possible.
Exactly. It's like having a secret weapon,
Yeah.
giving us an edge over other candidates.
Welcome back. So let's look closer at this career guide and see what it says about building a successful career as a leather goods product developer.
Yeah, I like how this guide breaks down the typical career path.
Yeah, it shows you the steps along the way.
It outlines the skills and experience you need at each level.
Right, from junior all the way up to senior developer.
It's like a roadmap,
Yeah, a roadmap for your career.
showing you how to get from point A to point B.
And it even gives you real-life examples of people at each level.
Yeah, it gives you a peek into what their day-to-day life is like.
Like what they actually do.
It's inspiring to see how their careers have grown.
Yeah, it shows you what's possible.
One thing that really stands out is how important it is to always be learning.
Yeah, this industry is constantly changing.
There are always new trends, new materials, new technologies.
You got to keep up.
The guide talks about going to trade shows like Linnapel.
Oh, yeah, that's a big one.
You can see all the latest innovations in leather and accessories there.
It's a great place to network, too,
The guide also suggests taking workshops.
to improve your skills.
Yeah, whether it's advanced pattern cutting or learning how to use digital design tools
It's all about investing in yourself.
and staying ahead of the curve.
Definitely.
And this is something we can really highlight in our interviews.
Oh,
When
absolutely.
they ask about our long-term goal,
Right.
We can show them that we're committed to learning and growing.
And that you're eager to take on new challenges.
It shows them that we're not just looking for any job.
Yeah,
We're looking for a career.
a career with potential.
I also like how the guide gives a realistic view of the pros and cons of this career.
Yeah, it's not all glitz and glamour.
It acknowledges the long hours, the tight deadlines, the competition,
It's a tough industry.
but it also highlights the rewards.
The satisfaction of creating something beautiful and lasting.
And working with leather is pretty cool.
Yeah, it's a unique material.
So it's about finding that balance,
Knowing that there will be challenges.
but the rewards can be amazing.
And that's something we can talk about in our interviews, too.
When they ask about our strengths and weaknesses,
Right. Be honest about your areas for improvement.
but also emphasize your passion, your drive, your resilience,
For example, you could say, I know this field demands a lot of attention to detail,
and the ability to work under pressure.
and those are skills I'm always working on.
I'm also eager to learn from experienced professionals.
And I welcome constructive criticism.
It helps me improve my craft,
That shows that you're self-aware and willing to grow.
which are great qualities in any candidate.
Absolutely.
Speaking of valuable qualities, let's get back to how RoleCatcher can help us with our interviews.
Oh, yeah. RoleCatcher's AI is amazing.
That interview practice tool is a game changer.
Tell me more.
It analyzes successful interview responses and gives you feedback.
It's like having a personal coach in your pocket.
And it's tailored to the specific job you're applying for
So you're practicing the right things.
and getting the most relevant feedback
It can really make a difference in your confidence.
and your performance.
Definitely.
And beyond interview prep, RoleCatcher's AI can also help us create a standout CV.
Oh, wow. So it's not just for interviews?
Nope, it can help us make sure our CV gets noticed.
How does it do that?
The AI analyzes job descriptions,
Oh, interesting.
and it finds the keywords and skills that employers are looking for.
So it knows what they want.
Yeah, and then it suggests ways to include those keywords in our CV.
So our CV is more likely to get picked up by their system.
Exactly. It's like having an expert strategist helping us present ourselves as the ideal candidate.
That's fantastic.
Okay, so we've talked about skills and career progression, what it's really like to work in this industry.
Yeah, we've covered a lot.
But there's one crucial thing we haven't discussed yet,
What's that?
our portfolio.
Oh, right. The portfolio.
In a creative field like this, our portfolio is our chance to really shine.
It's where we can show off our work.
It's like a visual representation of our skills, our creativity, our understanding of leather.
Our love for leather.
The career guide has some good tips on how to make our portfolio stand out.
Like what?
It says we should show a variety of projects.
To show our range and versatility.
Don't just include finished products.
Great. Show the process.
Yeah, include sketches, mood boards, material samples, even works in progress.
That's a good idea.
It shows how we think, how we turn inspiration into actual designs.
It gives them a glimpse into our creative process.
Exactly.
So if you're presenting a design for a tote bag,
Yeah.
show them your early sketches where you were exploring different shapes.
And maybe a mood board with the textures and colors that inspired you.
And if you tried out different hardware closures, document that too.
It shows that we're thinking about every little detail.
Refining our designs to make them both beautiful and functional.
And don't be afraid to highlight projects that show off your unique skills or interests.
Yeah, like if you're really good at traditional leather tooling.
Or if you love creating intricate braids,
Those special skills can make you stand out.
it shows that you have a deep understanding of the craft.
And that you go beyond the basics.
And when you're presenting your portfolio, be ready to talk about your design process.
Yeah, walk them through it.
What inspired you? What challenges did you face? How did you make decisions about materials and construction?
It's about sharing how your mind works.
And how you approach problem solving.
The career guide also says it's important to tailor your portfolio to the specific job you're applying for.
Oh, yeah, that makes sense.
Research the company, their style, their target, market their products.
And remember how RoleCatcher's AI can help us find those keywords and skills that employers are looking for?
Right, we can use that information to make sure our portfolio highlights the most relevant parts of our work
It's all about showing them what we're best at.
and aligning our talents with their vision.
Now, as we wrap up this part of our deep dive, I want to leave you with a key question from the career guide.
Okay, what is it?
What unique projects or experiences can you showcase to really stand out?
That's a good question.
Think about what makes you different from other candidates.
What makes you special?
Have you worked on any personal projects that pushed your creative boundaries?
Or maybe you have some specialized leatherworking skills.
Or a passion for a particular style?
Don't be afraid to show off what makes you unique.
In a competitive field, it's those unique qualities that can really catch an employer's eye. So we're back for the final part of our deep dive. We've talked about those interview questions and career paths and what it's really like to work in this industry.
And now it's all about that portfolio. It's your time to shine, to really show off your skills, your creativity, and your love for working with leather.
It's like your visual story,
Yeah.
It's a collection of projects that show what you can do and what makes you unique.
It's where your passion comes to life.
The career guide says it's really important to show a range of work.
Don't just show the finished product.
Right, like don't just show the
But
bag.
just show the whole process.
Sketches, mood boards, material samples, even things you're still working on.
It's about showing how you think you know, how you take an idea and turn it into a real design.
So if you're showing a design for a tote bag,
Yeah.
include those early sketches where you were trying out different shapes.
Yeah. And that mood board with all the textures and colors that inspired you.
And if you experimented with different hardware or closures, show that too.
It shows that you're thinking about every detail.
You're making sure it's functional and beautiful.
And don't be afraid to highlight projects that show off your special skills.
Like if you're really good at traditional leather tooling,
Or if you love making those intricate braids,
those skills can really make you stand out
it shows you have a deeper understanding of the craft.
and that you're not just doing the basics.
And when you're presenting your portfolio, be ready to talk about your design process.
Yeah, tell them about what inspired you.
What were the challenges you faced?
How did you decide on materials and construction?
It's about showing them how you think and how you solve problems.
The career guide also says to make sure your portfolio fits the job you're applying for.
Oh yeah, that's smart.
Research the company, their style, their target market, the kind of products they make.
And don't forget, RoleCatcher's AI can help you find those keywords and skills that employers are looking for.
You can use that to make sure your portfolio highlights the stuff they really care about.
It's about showing them your best self and how your talents match their vision.
So as we wrap up this deep dive, I want to leave you with this thought. You've made it this far.
You're already doing great.
That means you have the skills and the potential,
Don't be afraid to show your passion.
your creativity and your unique perspective,
Let your enthusiasm shine through
and believe in yourself.
with everything you've learned from this deep dive.
And with RoleCatcher's AI to help you,
You're ready to ace that interview.
and start your exciting career in the world of leather goods.
Good luck. We know you're going to do great for